How little even we who live in the heart of the city know about the river, except what we see as we hurry across to our work or away for our weekend. And yet this mighty river is, was, and always will be the lifeblood of England, its greatest high road. This is the pool of London, whose mists and moods we know so well. Above it we know the Thames chiefly as a pleasure resort, yet it is mainly on the part we know least that its greatest work is done. London is still the greatest port in the world, and it is still by means of the Thames that these ships from all parts of the world bring us our necessities and luxuries. Meat, wheat, wool, paper, fruit, cement, almost anything you can think of. The river was and remains the mainspring of London, and today more than ever, because via the Thames comes that precious liquid which is the lifeblood of modern transport, petrol. Starting from the Tower, built by the Conqueror nearly 1,000 years ago on the site of older Roman and Celtic forts, let us take a quick trip down the river and pick out some of the points of interest on the way. The road divides to let us pass. First, under the Tower Bridge, that miracle of hydraulic engineering, the first and the last gateway into England via London. We glide under its mighty girders into the less familiar waters which lie between it and the sea. This is Wapping Police Station, and that motor launch is a speedboat of the flying squad of the River Police. There is an old English song about Wapping old stairs. There they are, a narrow shadow of their former selves perhaps, but still there and a favourite playground at low tide. This is the prospect of Whitby, a real old unspoilt waterside tavern, with a balcony overhanging the river and a wonderful misty panorama of activity. Let's go on to the balcony. Here comes one of the river lorries, a Thames barge with her red-brown sail passing up on the flood tide to unload. In the foreground is a cargo of cork waiting to land, and beyond is a big ship unloading innumerable bunches of bananas. Tugs are the river's porters, who do all the heavy pushing and pulling. Sturdy, useful people, with a charm of their own. A prominent landmark on our way down is Stepney Parish Church, whose tower you now see. Children born at sea on British ships are all registered here. Perhaps some of you watching this film are parishioners of Stepney and have never seen it. And so we pass the vast West India Docks, where you can see a four-masted sailing ship, as rare alas today as a four-wheeler on the streets. And here is an unfamiliar view of our old zoo friend, the Regent's Canal, the entrance. Dredgers are constantly at work moving silt from the shallows at the banks and plumping it into the deeper waters. And here is a sight you'd never expect within a mile or two of Charing Cross. Men furling sails at Deptford, whence Drake sailed round the world. What the eye don't see, the art don't grieve after. Let's hope the old man doesn't know that his dinner plates were washed in this lovely, clear liquid. Barges waiting for the tide, probably carrying cement from Purfleet, Grays, Greenhithe, or from up the Medway, all dozing in a row. Look at the lovely pattern of their rigging against the sky. And so we come to one of Sir Christopher Wren's greatest masterpieces, the Royal Naval College at Greenwich, with on the skyline in the background the dome of the observatory which gives time to the whole world. Even if he'd never built St. Paul's, this great building would have ensured the immortality of his name. Barges, barges all the way, slow but sure, and as picturesque as any ships in the world. Round she comes to make another tack on her way. Not all the wooden walls of other days have gone the way of the fighting Temeraire. Here's a fine relic of Nelson's times, now a training ship off Greenhithe, with her figurehead still intact. Long may she remain there. The chalk hills of Kent and Essex produce a warren of cement works. Here is one of the biggest, with its curious but not unbeautiful bottle-shaped kilns. Petrol gives us motion, cement gives us stability, and perhaps even the building you sit in was born on these Kentish downs. Now Tilbury Docks are in front of you, with P&O and Orient liners lying there resting between their journeys to the outposts of our empire in the east. And what could be lovelier than this barge as she goes about? There is beauty, too, in all these cranes with their network of steel arms and legs. Lately, the Prime Minister opened a huge new landing stage at Tilbury, so that now ocean liners can come alongside and put their passengers right on shore. Before, it was done by tenders. Here is the new custom house. And this is Gravesend. In that church lies buried La Belle Sauvage, a Red Indian princess Pocahontas, who came over with her English husband in 1607. And so we pass into the wider and rougher reaches beyond, with the pilots bringing up the great host of ships into the heart of the city. Look at this procession. Now we're arriving at the silver mushroom port of Shellhaven, whither the ocean tankers bring their liquid cargo. This is one of them. Note that her engines are all aft, and her 10,000 tons of oil stored forward. Here is another one discharging through pipelines into storage tanks, which line the shore. The oil passes down the piers, through miles of pipes, into the refinery works beyond. But Shell might easily have its S removed, were it not for this regulation. Not even a matchbox gets beyond it. Now from the top of a high building, you're looking down over acres of refineries and distilling plant, where the many byproducts are extracted. Not only petrol comes from crude oil, but Mexfalt and Spraymex for road surfacing, and many other products. You will notice that even the engine has obeyed that notice and left its funnel behind, running on compressed steam for fear of sparks. And so at last we see the pure, clear liquid which gives life to your car being loaded into one of the famous road tank wagons, which carry up to 2,500 gallons of petrol. And from them are replenished the well-known roadside pumps.